Hi Stampers, Jackie Bolhuis from Klompen Stampers. I'm the queen of quick and easy, and it's all about making stamping simple. And that's what this video is about, and really all the videos that I do. Today, I have tons of tips that are going to help you make stamping simple. And while we're doing it, we're going to work on some gorgeous cards. Now, at first glance, these may not seem simple. I promise you they are, and I'm going to teach you a quick and easy watercoloring technique along with a bunch of other tips that I know you're going to love. We're using a stamp set out of the brand new Occasions catalog. The front of it looks like this. If you don't already have one and you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to send you one. On my website, there's a link to request one, so go there and do that, along with the celebration brochure. Okay, it's all about free stuff right now. We love Stampin' Up! And me, myself, love to give away free products. And that's what it's all about from January through March. For every $50 you order, you get to pick something for free out of here. I also have a great rewards program. For every $50 you order from me, you get to earn cards that you can cash in for free products of your choice. I'm not going to just send you some random gift that you may not need or use. You get to pick out the free products that you want. Now, we're not really here to talk about all of that. We're here to stamp. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip the camera down, show you the cards, and show you so many tips. Make sure you watch all the way to the end so that you don't miss any. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and like my video. When you guys do that, it really helps me a lot to be able to continue to provide these quick and easy stamping videos for you. So let's flip it down and get started. Look at our gorgeous cards that we're going to make today. Well, we're not really going to make all of them, but I'm going to show you how to make all of them with a ton of tips for them. Now, before we dig into this, I do want to chat with you for just a minute about the brand new cling stamps that Stampin' Up! Has come out with, because I know some of you have lots of questions, and I want to make sure you understand how fabulous they are, but I also want to make sure you understand how you got to treat them, because they're just a smidgen different. Now, they are the same red rubber that we've grown to love from Stampin' Up! So that hasn't changed. The only thing that's really changed, along with, they're calling them cling mount instead of clear mount, is the sticker. The sticker is super sticky. Look at it, it even sticks to my finger. In the past, I haven't always put the stickers on my stamps because I felt they didn't stick very well. You know what? Now sometimes it's hard to get them off the blocks. So a few tips when you put them together, and I've kind of left this set. I've been putting them together one at a time here so that I can show you. You pop them out of the rubber just like you always have. It has a sheet of labels just like we've always done. This one's kind of tricky. Let's find the right one. It's this one. And then on the back, it's always split in two so you can peel the backing off. Peel the backing off of your stamp. Now, here's the key. This sticker is so sticky, you cannot put it down and think, oops, I put it on wrong, and pick it up and reposition it. When it's down, it's down. So you need to be super careful. I tend to find a part that has the most detail. Okay, so here we kind of have this curves that go around here. And I take my stamp and I start on an edge with it, you know, kind of tilted up a little bit instead of plopping it down. And I start, and you can just line it up. It's not that hard. You just got to be careful and take your time. Once it's down, it peels right up, and there you go. Your sticker is on there. Now, I am recommending, and I started doing this with mine, keeping the negative in here and then store these in like so. Now you can, and actually the first video I did about cling mounts, I did show them just stuck on the case, and that's great and fine too, but sometimes they stick too well and they're kind of hard to get off. You have to be careful. Grab them from an edge and peel them up slowly. Don't like just grab and rip, because you could rip your stamp. So I found that by keeping them in the negative like that, it does kind of, I guess, make it a little bit easier to take them on and off. Now, speaking of taking them on and off, see, it even stuck to my finger there. When you put them on your block, like I said, they stick really well. You're never going to have a stamp come off again in your ink pad or fall onto your card. But when you take them off your block, you need to go from the edge and pick it up from a corner and then slowly peel it up, okay? Don't, again, just like in the cases, don't just grab them and rip them. So grab them from a corner and slowly pick them up. And then they're gonna work awesome for you. So there's a few tips with the cling mount stamps. Now let's take a peek at this one. This is called Humming Along. This is the stamp set I'm using today. Now it does come as a bundle with coordinating framelits. Now I'm going to use the framelits on my cards to cut these pieces out, but this is one of those sets, if you don't mind fussy cutting, you might not, I guess, need the framelits. I would rather use framelits to cut things out, but it's not like these are teeny tiny images and a million of real detailed images, so you could cut them if you wanted to. So let's set that aside. And like I said, I have a ton of tips I'm going to share with you. This is the card we're going to work on. Now don't be intimidated by this. I had a friend look at this and go, whoa, I could never do that. Yes, you can. Anyone can do this. Quick and easy watercoloring is what I'm going to show you today. Truly makes you feel like an artist, and it's so easy. So let's set that aside, and I have a piece of shimmery white cardstock. It's 3 3/4 by 5. Now don't worry about the measurements. I'll have those all in the blog post, and the link will be in the video to that. But it's shimmery white. Anytime you're using water, you need to make sure you use either watercolor paper or shimmery white. I prefer the shimmery white because of the smooth surface. I think you get a better stamped image that way. Okay, so we need that. I'm also using my aqua painter. If you don't have one of these, you certainly can just use a little paintbrush and a cup of water and dip it in. The advantage of the aqua painter is you have all the water right here in it already. So when I give it a little bit of pressure, the water comes out, and there's my water for watercoloring. So there's that. Now, on our card here, my little flowers are embossed. So I don't always show how to emboss. I just, tend to say emboss your image. But on this video, I am going to show you how to emboss, just to show you how simple it is. You need to use an embossing pad, which in our case is just the Versamark pad. Essentially, it's a clear ink that dries slow. And then you need embossing powder. I happen to have white here because we want our image in white. And I also like to just dump them in a little Tupperware like this. I think it's easier to work with, less mess. So we're going to go ahead and ink this up, but before we do that, we need to grab our little friend called the Embossing Buddy. Now this is one of these things, it will last you your lifetime, but what it does is it will take the static out of your cardstock. So we're going to just rub it across there. This is what prevents all those little speckles of embossing powder sticking where you don't want them to stick, and you'll have a nice clean image. So ink this up, and for our card today, we're going to just stamp it kind of coming off the edges like that. So ink, we can't see it on there. We'll take our embossing powder, dump it over, liberally cover where you stamped, and shake off the extra. And that's where using this little container works really good. So we're going to stamp 3 of these on here. And then we're also going to stamp some of the leaves. Same thing, embossing pad. If you work kind of quickly, because these are small, we can do a couple at a time. There we go. Once we have all of our images on there, we're going to grab our heat tool. Now when we turn this on, we do need to kind of warm it up a little bit. And then all of a sudden you will see your images get shiny. And I apologize, you probably can't see a thing on the video here. We'll see if once they get shiny, it kind of shows up. But we just move it around, and all of a sudden, once it starts, it will just, there we go, we're kind of starting over here on the leaf. And then I'm gonna just keep moving my heat source around until we have the whole thing shiny, all the powder melted. Don't overheat it because it will flatten out. So it's kind of like baking, you can over bake it, but we'll just move this around. There we go. Did you like that speed up in the video? I figured you didn't have to be bored as I kind of moved it around. So there we go. It is all embossed, and now we're ready to do our quick and easy watercoloring. Now what I like to use is just one of my clear blocks, and I'm going to use my re-inkers. So we're going to put a drop of Granny Apple Green on there. We're going to use some Daffodil Yellow. We'll use a little more of that one. And then a little bit of, what do I got here? Pumpkin Pie. So we're just going to put those on that. And that's where I'm going to pick my ink up from. Now you can use the lids of your ink pads, but when I'm doing a lot like this, there's quite a few images on here, I found I like to do it this way better. Now, since our image is embossed, I can feel it. It's raised up on there. And what I like to do, again, keeping it quick and easy, is I'll take my aqua painter, and I don't know if you can see the water or not, and I'm going to color in my flower just with water. And then I'm going to pick up ink, and you can see how as I dab it on there, since there's already water, it just kind of spreads on its own. I can move it around, but just kind of that dabbing. Now let it kind of bleed out of the lines a little bit. Okay, the beauty of watercolor is it doesn't have to be perfect. And then we'll pick up a little bit of the orange and just kind of dab it on the center. And then we'll do a little bit, we want this a little darker up here, get the little top of our flower. And there we go. Now I have a lot of orange on here, so I'm going to actually just brush it off on my scrap paper, squeeze my aqua painter to clean it out a little bit. Then we can come over here, and again we're just using water. There was still some ink in there, but that's okay. Pick up some yellow, dab it in there. You know, the whole idea, quick and easy, guys. Don't get all trying to do anything perfect. That's the beauty of watercolor. Look, I think before we do the dark, let's come over here and do this one. I have a friend that's a watercolor artist. She's amazing. I tried to learn it. I was horrible. But the one thing I did learn from her is just be free. I'm holding this very light. I'm just kind of dabbing that color in there. Get a little orange. You want to do this while it's still wet, so those colors just kind of bleed in there a little bit. Put a little more orange in there, and then we can take some orange. But I hope what you're seeing or picking up, I guess, is how quick and easy this is. I didn't spend a lot of time, trying to be real detailed. I'm going to clean this off really good here, because the other thing, I want to kind of come back here and almost go over, purposefully go over those edges where I didn't bleed out, because that will make those flowers show a little bit more, because remember we got that white line, so we want to see our image. So we'll just come back, get a real light color, and then we can do our leaves. Again, we'll put the water down first, bring in that. See, I call it sloppy coloring. I think this is probably why I don't like coloring with colored pencils and markers very much. That one's pretty dark, because I feel like you have to stay in the lines. Watercolor to me doesn't have to be in the lines. There we go. How quick was that? I should have timed myself. I probably can go back on the video and time myself on that one. Keep it fast, keep it easy. And that's how you do quick and easy watercoloring. Now let's come back and take a closer look at our card. I simply finished it off by putting, I love black, putting a black layer behind it. I used the words thank you from our stamp set, and this is probably one of the reasons you might want this bundle with the framelets, is you do get this gorgeous little frame here. So I stamped that. Now this ribbon, and I'm going to show you some ribbon tips. I use the ribbon on all three of these. So these two were stamped. Okay, this one's embossed, colored the same way, but I cut it out. On the hummingbird here, this one I stamped in black and then watercolored it the same way and cut it out. Now when you are stamping in black and not watercoloring, you need to use a permanent black ink. So you can either use StazOn, or I still like to use my old archival stamp pad. We don't sell these anymore. We sell the StazOn only, so you can use either, or just make sure it's waterproof. If you use Memento, which we use for a lot of other things, this will bleed. Okay, it's not going to take water, so don't use that one. So that's some tips on that. Now with this bow, I got to show you this ribbon. It is stunningly gorgeous, and I love a good ribbon. This is an organza, I think they call it ribbon, but this is one that's free during celebration. You can't buy these ribbons, guys. The only way to get it, and it comes as a bundle, as all 5 of them, is as one of the celebration items that you get free with a $50 order. You guys want this, I promise you. Now, when I used it on all of these cards, I go back and forth, you know, using my ribbon different ways, but what I did is I cut a piece a little bit longer than I needed, okay, before I glued this layer down. So I cut it about that big, And then rather than wrapping around and tying a bow, to me some ribbons are easy to tie a bow, some of them I struggle with. I don't know why I struggled with this one, but I did. So I took this and I actually wrapped it around the layer, and we'll just make believe here, and I wrapped it right around to the back like so, and then I used a little piece of Scotch tape on the back to adhere it. So I just had a strip of ribbon. Then I made the little bow and I attached it with a glue dot. So it really does look like it's wrapped around and tied. Now, bow making tip. I have my cheater bow maker. A friend gave this to me years ago. You can find these on eBay and on Etsy. Just search bow maker. I don't know exactly where, but I know you can find them. And I also know that a bunch of you guys have them. So I want to just kind of show you. I'm not real conservative with my ribbon, to be honest. I just cut a chunk that I know is plenty big, and all I have to do is I wrap it around, I cross them, I bring one over, and that. Now, this video really isn't completely intended to show you how to use the bow maker, because if you do buy one, they'll give you instructions. But I wanted to show you how I do cheat sometimes to make my bow. And there is an adorable, easy bow. We can trim the ends off here. You know, I always trim them at an angle, and then all I need to do is put a glue dot on there and stick it on. So there's that tip. Let's peek inside. Remember, we always have to finish the insides of our cards. So this one, I just stamped a simple flower in there, and then in this one, I just stamped a couple flowers, and I did grab a greeting from that other greeting set that I was showing you because I thought it worked beautiful. Strong and beautiful. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It is so filled with so many tips. We talked about the cling mount stamps, we talked about embossing, we talked about quick and easy watercoloring. You guys are gonna love this stamp set. It's just a perfect one for watercoloring, great all around greetings in it. If you have any questions on the cards I shared with you, the techniques, or any of the tips I shared, make sure to leave a comment or get a hold of me and ask. I love to hear from you, and I love to help you by answering all of your questions. And then don't forget, if you need a catalog, let me know. And also don't forget to subscribe. I've got at least 3 videos a week coming your way, all filled with lots of quick and easy stamping tips. Remember, I'm all about stamping made simple, and that's what we're gonna work on in 2019. So until I stamp with you again, have a stamp happy day.